The post-credit scene for WandaVision is probably one of the most loaded post-credit scenes we've ever seen in the MCU. Not only did it set up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and what Wanda is doing, but when you look at the fact that she is studying the Darkhold and all the forbidden magic and spells inside of it, you realize that they just revealed that this is our setup to Ghost Rider, the darker side of the MCU, vampires, and so much more. So when it comes to Marvel Comics, there is quite clearly a lot of history to go over when it comes to where we are today in terms of continuity and history, and we can see that Marvel Studios is taking that same approach. Every single year, they seem to add another piece of content that adds a little bit more history and context to what's come before. In terms of what it means for the Darkhold, it means that there is a lot more stuff that was just made canon that they can outright explain with the Darkhold and how it will factor into the future with upcoming projects, such as Blade, for example, because when it comes to Blade, when it comes to vampires, when it comes to the existence of Lycans and all these other things that connect to the likes of the darker side of Marvel, it all traces all the way back to the likes of the Darkhold. Specifically, when you look at things like vampires, for example, and how humanity decided to go down that darker route, how it connects to things like Atlantis, for example, and even the devil, giving you forbidden magic, cracking open that door, and even leading to things like resurrections and soul manipulation such as Ghost Rider. This all directly ties in with the Darkhold and its dark history throughout humanity's history. And what's important here, specifically when it sets up Blade, is that the back history now and the explanation to where the vampires come from is directly connected to the Darkhold, because in Marvel Comics there was a character called Kull the Conqueror who has a relation to Conan the Barbarian, who right now is getting a pretty big push in Marvel Comics. Well, before Atlantis sank, humanity found the Darkhold. They decided, hey, humanity needs some help, what can we do? Well, they created the first ever vampire with the power of the Darkhold. The vampires then would go on to grow in numbers and establish these dark cults and underground vampire movements that would slowly spread throughout history, which inevitably would lead to the most famous vampire of all time, Dracula. And at the same time, there is a direct connection as well to the character of Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf by Night, who also has connections to the likes of Elsa Bloodstone, who was at one point coming to Marvel TV before Kevin Feige said no. So you can see how all these pieces are sort of rolling together, and I really will not be shocked if they directly connect the Darkhold to the likes of Moon Knight as well, because that just makes sense. So hopefully that made it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. As always, in our member section on the audio commentary tier, we offer audio commentaries for WandaVision and the upcoming Falcon and the Winter Soldier.